want to talk about me. That's the one.
Yeah, wow, you're so humble in your old age.
Yeah,
All right, time to see who's going to stay on trend. This is where I'm going to give you each a stat. You tell us if the player continues to trend in that direction. Let's stay with Justin Jefferson here. On Sunday, he averaged 4.3 yards of separation on his targets, the highest mark in any game of his career with at least 5 targets. Key, do you expect him to continue to get that kind of separation this week?
Absolutely not. The Philadelphia Eagles aren't going to let him just run all over the field. Look at that. He's out there by himself as a lone ranger. I don't see it happening.
No.
If that was the case, especially the entire season, dude, that by like 10,000 yards.
Well, listen, we'll see what happens by the end of the season. You never know.
Urban be happy.
Lone Ranger.
MVP.
Okay, next up, let's go to Philly, where Jalen Hurts was excelling from inside the pocket, posting a 79 QBR, the 4th highest mark of any quarterback in Week 1. And that's a stark difference from last season, where Hurts posted a QBR of just 45 from inside the pocket, ranking 25th in the league. Dan, you expect Hurts to continue to play at that level from inside the pocket?
If teams are going to continue to play man against A.J. Brown like the Lions did, absolutely. A.J. Brown in man coverage last week from inside the pocket from Jalen Hurts. 6 catches, 115 yards. He was 5 for 5 downfield for X amount of yards in perfect situations to A.J. Brown. And then in man coverage, Jalen continued to use his legs. I totally butchered that. Jalen continued to use his legs in scrambling situations, ran 8 times for 60 yards, including 4 first downs. So I think the challenge for defenses, and starting with Minnesota this week, is can you and do you want to play man coverage versus the Eagles with A.J. Brown and then Jalen using his legs?
Nice recovery, Dan. It's because I said you were the best in the studio. We finish in Buffalo, talking about our Monday night doubleheader with an offense that teams are having a really hard time getting off the field against. Now, to Buffalo, the Bills have punted just 4 times in their last 6 games, including the playoffs going back to last season. That's more games without punting than any other team in the NFL since the start of last season. Marcus, you expect?
In Philadelphia, Vikings coming off the really good win against Green Bay, against the Eagles, who are also 1-0. Have you seen Pete's power rankings?
I've not.
Okay. One team is ranked 4th, the other team is ranked 7th. Which team do you think is ranked higher?
I think he's got the Eagles ranked higher.
You are right. Eagles are 4, Vikings
Which
are 7.
means he would have him ranked higher.
BMAC was not happy about it.
Which means you would have him ranked higher.
I don't know that I'd have the Eagles ranked that high. I do think they had a dominant performance. They really did pick up from where they left off last year. I didn't think that was going to be the case. I thought they were a year too soon. Maybe they come back down to reality, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. I get concerned with Jalen Hurts running as much as he's going to. If that's going to be the rest of the year, he's going to be a guy who's going to be subject to getting hurt. So your favorite guy, Gardner Minshew, would potentially have to come in. But look, this is going to be a great game, by the way. I can't wait to see this because I think, look, the Vikings with the coaching staff changes, their players, I feel like they're in a better position to succeed. You know, Harrison Smith doesn't have the run to the back middle of the field or the deep half the field to then kind of diagnose what's happened. They're letting him kind of sit and play more and read the quarterback and pattern match and all those things you look to do. Dino Hunter's in a better position now, too, on that front to create more pressure. So curious to see how, obviously, the Vikings line holds up versus the Eagles front. 2 evenly matched teams, so much so. Like when you talk about you had 1 at 4, 1 at 7, I might have them both at 5 and 6. Like, I think they're right there. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 2 points here in the Vikings on the road.
Is it a big game?
It's in primetime.
Is it in primetime?
It is in primetime.
Oh, you know which way I'm going. I'm going the other way. I'm taking the Eagles. I mean, I'm a big believer in the Eagles. I think their talent across the board is outstanding.
Brown, the addition
and they're too deep. They can go. Do guys get hurt? They're going to be okay. The offensive line might be the best in football. It might be, by the end of the year, that might be the best in football, and I think they're going to dominate up front in this game. Hurts has gotten better throwing the ball.
Yes.
He's improved.
Well, it helps when you have A.J. Brown.
But he didn't get the ball to Devontae Smith. I think he does that. He course correction on that. He'll get the ball to him. I like the Eagles, and at some point, we're going to see it.
The glazed over look.
What is it, the circadian rhythm problem? He can only play at 1 and 4 o'clock, not at primetime?
Big game.
Have you even said his name yet? It's Kirk Cousins.
Big game.
Are you back off of Kirk Cousins bandwagon? You were great last year with him.
No, I said before the season that he would throw for a bunch of.
You said your bold prediction was he'd lead the NFL in passing touchdowns.
Right, so he'll be really good in the games that aren't big games.
So his glazed over look, he's cross-eyed. Is that what happens?
Well, it just when it happens, it's just like
what does it
you know
look
what
like?
You know what it is. You know what it is. It's when a guy has a bad play and he can't get out from underneath it. Great quarterbacks get out from underneath
It's usually
it.
called a 30,000-mile stare.
Yeah.
But show me what the
And on that note, just 3 hours and some change to kick off in Kansas City between those Chiefs and Chargers. Kansas City now 4-point home favorites in this one. So much to get to on the injury front tonight. Let's get Adam Schefter back in here. Adam, what do we need to know? Let's start with Chargers wideout Keenan Allen.
Well, Laura, we saw him ruled out yesterday, so no Keenan Allen tonight as he continues to nurse that hamstring injury, and he'll obviously have some extra time here to try to be ready for next week's game, but he will not be able to go tonight, which means there should be a lot of targets for Mike Williams, for Josh Palmer, for DeAndre Carter, and all the weapons that Justin Herbert will be throwing to tonight, but no Keenan Allen. Meanwhile, the Chargers cornerback J.C. Jackson was intimating on Instagram today that he should be ready to go. And I got a text a short time ago that it's likely that he's going to be up tonight and make his Chargers debut. And so we'll see how he feels in pregame warmups. But the sense I get this afternoon is that J.C. Jackson will be playing tonight for the Chargers. And meanwhile, a short time ago, the Chiefs signed Matt Amendola off their practice squad to replace Harrison Butker, who hurt his ankle last week on this kickoff against Arizona. And so the Chiefs, without Butker, now will turn to the former Jets kicker, Matt Amendola. He is expected to be Kansas City's kicker tonight against the Chargers.
We expect a close game. The kicking situation extremely important. But what do you guys think about Adams reporting there that maybe J.C. Jackson does make his debut after all for the Chargers?
I wonder if Keyshawn is the one who sent him the text with all the insider information.
Yeah,
No.
That would be a big deal because it adds just another coverage person to a unit that's going to be challenged with all the different pieces that Kansas City can throw at them.
You know, it'll be interesting to see him tonight, and I'm a little skeptical of any defensive back that leaves the New England Patriots at corner and Bill Belichick and goes to another team. Because for whatever reason, they have major success in New England. When they go somewhere else at the corner spot, doesn't always, coaches don't know what to do with him. So I'll be interested to see that. And I know he's injured a little bit, but I'm going to watch that closely.
Yeah, see if the scheme fits. Okay, big game tonight. Let's get a FanDuel same-game parlay from Dan Orlovsky. Dan, let's go through it. Over under 250 pass yards for Justin Herbert tonight.
I got to go over because I think this is going to be a phenomenal football game. I think it's going to be a very much so contested football game. And that leads me to believe that the Chargers are going to put the game certainly near the end of it or put the ball in his hands and say, hey, go lead us to victory. I know that there is no Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is still very good. Gerald Everett came over very good. Eckler, there's still good pieces on this offense. I say over 250.
Over under 60 yards on the ground for Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
I'm going to say under. Number one, because Pacheco, their rookie running back, still a viable ball carrier for them and hits the hole really well. But I do believe that CEH is going to be an important part in their pass game. Andy Reid loves to put screen games into these situations. Short week, how prepared are you to see this as a defense? He's still going to have an integral part of their offense, but I say under 60 yards on the ground for CEH.
Does Travis Kelce score a touchdown tonight?
Yep. Water is wet. He's going to be breathing. So I would imagine that, Andy Reid's going to find different ways to get him the ball specifically down in the red zone to try to create some matchups, whether he's away from formations or in the heart of it. He's just too good of a player. I know he's going to be matched up against Derwin James a bunch. I still believe that he's talented enough. He'll find the end zone.
You've heard our picks, Dan's picks. Now you can use those to make your own, to build a same-game parlay with FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Hey, we got something special coming your way. The very first Dan Wagon of this 2022 season. That means the horses are back.
Also, the re-emergence of Michael Thomas as a red zone threat. I want to go to a throw that Jameis makes to Jarvis Landry in the slot. His trust in seeing it the same way was a big deal, Key. Big thing for me is understanding the ball's going to get snapped right around the 35-yard line, okay? So when I'm throwing this seam ball to Jarvis Landry, my big deal is getting the ball completed right around 20 yards down the field. This is a great job of Jameis getting that ball out on time because, Keyshawn, you know this. These defenders were going to spin back into cover 3, and I got that void that I can go take advantage of. Now, we're going to get into a receiver ISO right here, and I really want you to teach everybody the finer points of what Jarvis Landry does.
The great thing about it is he threatens him vertically. Now all of a sudden he's peaking. As soon as you pass the defender, the nickel guy, you need to be looking back to let the quarterback know that I'm ready for the football. Slightly throttle down as you roll into it. If it's covered 2, that now changes a little bit because now you're threatening the safety.
Okay.
This is totally different, but here's what I would say again, Dan.
You're saying throttle down and kind of bleed it in.
Bleed it in. Because you first
see punter Sam Martin out on the field Monday night?
Yes, I do. And if I don't see him, I'm changing my pick to the Bills winning the Super Bowl. But I believe Jeffrey Simmons and obviously Bud Dupree and Danico Autry, I think this defensive line will be able to get them off, may get them in a couple of negative plays early in downs on 1st and 2nd down and make it a 3rd long situation where they can get off the field. It's a tall task to get Josh Allen and this offense removed, but I think the Tennessee Titans defensive line is good enough to create something negative in order to make this team punt once or twice.
Only 2 teams have punted less than the Bills since the start of last season. They happen to be the 2 teams playing tonight.